Today I am out fishing on the Tennessee River. Now you may have seen a video recently where, got some action over here. You may have seen a video recently where I fished with Justin from Kayak Catfish on the Tennessee River down in one of my favorite spots, and very simply he outfished me. But we also didn't do great that day. Justin got one really good blue, and we caught a couple other smaller fish, but we didn't do stellar. And the thing is, Justin got this impression that maybe it just wasn't a great spot, or maybe Daniel's not that good of a fisherman. So I'm here to set the record straight, and I'm also here to show Justin that the fish really do bite when you're not scaring them all away with your motor. So drifting on the Tennessee River, you can see the bank is, if you can see it through the fog, the bank is just off my shoulder to my right, and there's a really steep drop off. I'm fishing at about 44 feet of water right now. I have my bait suspended just a couple feet off the bottom, drifting down with the current down this bank. And I'm going to show Justin how to catch fish when you don't scare them all off. Oh, hey, we're getting some action right here. I just kind of came through Dink City up here a second ago, and I'll show you that video, or I'll show you a clip from that in just a second, where the fish are just kind of shredding the bait. So I'm hoping to get out of that and get into some nicer fish. So let's see what happens. All right, I think this is Dink Fest right here. Got a couple rods going down, but oh, I didn't even get it. All right, here's one of the baits that I'm using. This is a skipjack head. You can see I'm going through Dink City right now, and they're just shredding this thing to bits. So I'm actually going to hook this. I usually go in right below the gill plate on the bottom, between the two gill plates, and then out through one of the nostrils, although this is kind of torn up, so I'm going to go ahead and pop out through the top of the skull just to kind of hold it in there a little bit better. Still got a little bit of life on him, so we're going to throw that one back down. I think we may have a good fish here. He took off hard. Let's see if he's actually... Another one going down over here. Oh, that could be another one. Oh, is he off? This is Dink Fest right here. Just got a lot of baits in the water. A lot of little fish tearing them up. Let's see what that one's about. He's still on there. Got another one going down over there. Fishing some really big baits today, so it's going to take a significant fish to actually get hooked up here. Here's one of the baits I'm fishing. This is a skipjack. I just cut the tail off, and then I split the gut sack down the middle, but you can see he got chomped only about halfway, and I bet I'm going to lose the bottom half of that fish here in just a couple minutes. If these dinks keep hitting it, this is the only small bait I have going on. It got hit a couple times here, so I'm going to check it and make sure it didn't flip over and get hooked sideways. Yep, that's kind of what I was worried about. So this is the smallest bait that I have down today. This is just a body section. Just fish just like that. Alright, let's check this last one. This is a smaller head on this rod. This is that one that I showed you. He's getting kind of torn to bits, but he's still getting hit, so I'm going to keep him down there. We got a good fish here. Oh, no way. This is a nice blue. He just immediately got lassoed. This fight's not gone, and I got this little rod hung up. This is about to be an adventure. Alright, Justin, spot lock would be really handy right now. Alright, I'm seeing some bubbles now. If you don't know, that's a really important piece when you're bringing in these really big blues down from, I'm in about 50 feet of water right now. You really need to let them decompress. It's a nice blue right here. He is still going to have some fight left because he's lassoed. He hasn't been able to fight like he wants. Let's see if we can deal with that. soon as he hit, he stuck his dorsal fin straight up and then started rolling, which is what blues do. That's their defensive mechanism. And this line just caught his dorsal fin and wrapped him right up. Wow. There he is. That's a real nice blue right there. That circle hook did its job. Got him right there on the corner of his jaw. That's important for anglers like me who like conservation efforts, you know, catch, photo, release, CPR. It's important to let these fish go so they can go and grow. That's the only way this sport will stay alive, is if we let the big ones go. All right, let me show you a view right here. There he is. He's not very long, but he is fat. Hold him up so you can see him. There he is. All right, Justin. That's the kind of fish. See, dude. Let's see if we can get some more. Oh, we got another rod going down over here. That's that whole skipjack. There must still be some left on it, because it's still getting hit. All right, after that last blue, I went ahead and paddled back up the river to be able to drift that same section again. I marked a couple other nice fish right around that same, looked like a fallen tree down in the, sunk in the bottom of the river. So I'm gonna go ahead and drift that same section again and see what happens. And while I have all my baits up, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing here. So we talk a lot in our Catfish Sumo training where we teach you to catch bigger catfish, that it all comes down to three things: the right rig, and the right spot, and the right bait. And so the right spot, pretty sure that have picked that well in our free training. If you haven't downloaded that, we have an ebook that is 3 surefire tactics you can use today to catch bigger catfish. And if you want, I'll put a link down in the description of this video. And if you're a watcher of this video, click that link through and I'll give you a coupon code to be able to download it for free. Usually it's $14 or $14.99, but I'll give it to you for free if you're watching this video. But we talk about how to pick a spot, what makes a good spot there. But I'm sure that this is a good spot. And then this is my rig. So I have 80-pound braid coming down. I use a Catfish Sumo sinker slider here. I don't like lead sliding up and down my line. I've lost too many fish or broken off too many fish, or if you get hung down below and you break them off, it always breaks right in that section where that lead slides up and down and really weakens your line. So I always use a sinker slider, and I'm using a 5-ounce cannon weight down there. I use a bumper. We sell these together if you want them. The sinker slider and the bumpers together. It's a pack of 12. You can get them on Amazon or our website or wherever else. I use our swivels right here, and then I have an 80-pound mono leader coming down. I always put about 12 inches down below whenever I'm drifting, because I really want my bait pretty close to where that lead is, down right below my kayak. This gives it room to swim around a little bit, to drift around a little bit, but not where it's, you know, can be several feet up or down below where my weight is. And then I use, right now I'm using 10-aught Catfish Sumo heavyweight circle hooks. They're offset circle hook with an octopus eye, and I use a no-knot snell on that. And this is the bait that I'm using today, big bait. Looking for big bait or go home. So big fish or go home. So this is that same skipjack. It's still hanging on there, a little bit chewed up. So I'm gonna drop that one down. Actually, right before I drop it down, I'm gonna go ahead, and it's been in the water for about an hour. So I take my scissors. If you want these, I'll put a link down below. And I like to, after my heads have been swimming for a while, I clip the gills just to let a little bit more of that juicy, delicious liquid come out and help my scent trail down along the river. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this one down, and then I'll show you the others. This other one, this is the same body section. And this is the section right behind the head. The head was right here. And then I take my scissors, first thing, and I always put a couple snips down along the bottom. This gut packet has already fallen out, so I'm going to go ahead and snip this along the bottom, just to add a little bit more ways for that scent to get out. And after it's been soaking a little bit longer, then I usually nick the spine right there, just so that the blood that's left in that spine can get out. One thing that I like to teach people as you're dropping it down is I don't like to just flip my bail, either spinning rod or casting style rod. Doesn't matter. I don't like to just let the line free fall. What happens is, as your lead falls, your bait has more drag, and so it's kind of working its way like this. Your lead's falling and pulling line off of your reel, and you can get separation between your bait. So then your lead hits the ground, you think that's the bottom, you go ahead and lock in your reel, but then this bait falls down and eventually hits the ground. So I always like to either keep your thumb on it or use your spool drag right there, your spindle drag right there, just to keep a little bit of pressure on that so that it falls at an even speed, so your bait and your lead are falling down together. This next rod over here, this is the same head, it's still getting chewed up, so I'm just going to rehook it, stick it back in again. Since this one's been soaking, I'm going to go ahead and clip its gills too. Drop that one down. When I'm choosing where my baits are going to go, I like, if I'm going to use 2 heads and 2 body sections or things like that, I like to have them catty corner so that there's 1 body section and 1 head, 1 body section and 1 head, with my heads opposite catty corner, and then my body section's catty corner. That way, as I'm drifting down, no matter which way my boat's facing, there's a head and a body section that are going to be hitting the fish, no matter which way I'm coming. All right, now the blue took my bait back over here, so I'm going to cut a new bait. Let me show you how I do that. In the kayak, I got over trying to keep track of a knife and a cutting board. It's a big mess. You got to store your cutting board somewhere and your knife. I didn't care for it, didn't like it, so what I got was these. These are kitchen shears, but these are meat cutting shears. So these will cut through the bones of chicken and stuff like that. So they're really strong, they're really tough, which helps if you're dealing with frozen skipjack ever. You can cut right through them. Or if you're ever cutting drum or something like that have really thick scales and a really thick spine, it's no issue for these guys. That's why I like them. So this skipjack, what I'm going to do is look for a big head section. So I'm going to cut right up to the front of the dorsal fin right here, cut straight down. All right, so that's what I'm going to be putting on right there. Now I usually cut a little bit of the gut pocket and then snip right here. You can see right there I just snipped next to the spine right there, so some of that's going to come out. And then the first time I drop it, I leave the gills alone, but then later if I bring it back up to check it, then I'm going to go ahead and snip the gills and let some of that come out too. And then to hook it just like this, I usually separate those 2 gill plates right there with the front of the hook or with my thumb and slide it right in through there, and then aim that point to come right through the top of the head. Sometimes you can hit a nostril, which comes through easier, or the top of the skull plate. You just want something tough so that it can't spin around and hook itself back. So there we go. Now let's drop that one down and see if we can get another fish. All right, and one take off. I think this is just a little guy, the way he hit. There was a dark line on the chart and a smaller line, and I think I got the smaller line. Yeah. But fish is a fish, I'll take him. All right, not a terrible fish. Got a fat belly. Fun catch though. Put him back down. These fish that come up real quick, it's important to hold onto their tail, swish water through their gills and through their mouth. Make sure they're ready to go before you let them go. All right, see you, dude. If you don't make sure that they're ready to go, then you'll be drifting along and you'll have a belly up fish drifting right along next to you, which is just too bad. Go. Hit it with a vengeance. What do we have back here? This is the body chunk, body section. He came up and looked at it and then went back down to the bottom and then shot back up. I don't think he's as big as how he hit. Nope. Alright, there he is. Fatty. Like he's got mud on his belly too. What that means is that he was down, stuck right on the bottom, probably nose up to the current, facing the current, and just waiting for bait to come by. When you notice that, you might consider dropping your bait down right a little bit closer to the bottom. Usually I'm 4 or 5 feet off the bottom, but noticing that, I might drop 2 of my rods down a little bit closer, maybe 2 or 3 feet off the bottom, just in case there's more fish stuck down to the bottom. They might be too lazy to rise up 5 feet, maybe they'll come up 2 feet or 3 feet. Alright, I'm going to put the body section of that skipjack that I cut the head off earlier. I'm going to go a little bit long. Actually, I might just chop the tail, and then I like to cut this down a little bit just so that it has a little bit of direction in the current. And I also like to nip off that dorsal fin just so that it doesn't get in the way of the hook. Alright, that one's ready. I'm going to go ahead and put a cut down its belly and a couple of nips in the flesh there. My gut packet's about to fall out, so I usually take it and hook it just for a little more goodies in that hook. Alright, I think we got another fun sizer on here. Just came over this ridge where the depth goes from about 35 feet into about 45 feet. And as I was dropping my baits down, 2 or 3 of them got hit, which is fun. I'd like them to be a bit bigger, of course. Fish on that one. See, it's still there. Nope. Alright, let's get this guy. Alright, there he is. Let him go. This is all that's left of that new head I just put on. Basically just the skull and the gill plates. It just got pecked by all those little fish. So we're going to put some new bait on and give it a try. Got another little guy. Definitely dink. I'm glad I got a bunch of skipjack this morning because these little dudes are cleaning me out. So you can see there's a real small blue. There's a 10-aught hook. You can see it's less than a third of the size of their mouth. So don't ever worry about upsizing your hooks if you're looking for bigger catfish, because even the little guys can still get hooked on that. Well, I have 2 baits out of the water now from those 2 little fish, so I'm going to go ahead and take up all 4 rods and head back upstream up the river and drift that last section again because it was pretty active. Well, I just went to pull up this front rod. Remember, this is the one that had that almost whole skipjack on it. That's all that's left of that thing because those little guys just pecked until finally they ripped him in half. And all that's left is this tiny little nibble. Okay, here's the 3 baits that I'm about to put down. One of them is I have another small skipjack just like this, and I did the same thing. I clipped the tail. I clipped a little end off the section here, section off the end right here, just so that it floats better, kind of flows better on the water with the current. And then I went ahead and slit the gut pouch right there. The next one is going to be a big skipjack head. And just like before, I went ahead and clipped the fins, super easy to do with those shears, and then I clipped the meat section a little bit. And then the last one is, this is the body section just back from that head. So big chunk, and I went ahead and clipped the dorsal fin right here. And I wanted to show you something here. In this skipjack's gut pouch, this is what it had been eating. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. But this is the little minnows that skipjack had been eating. And so the spoon that I was throwing this morning was a white threadfin shad Sumo spoon. It has 2 prongs so that you catch a lot more of the bait, you land a lot more, you don't end up being as frustrated. But this is the bait that they're hitting. So it's always helpful to kind of check out what they're hitting. If they're going after a hatch sometimes, like a mayfly hatch or something, you might throw something like a brown. Well, if you throw flies, like a brown woolly booger would be awesome. But brown spinner or something like that. But anytime you can find out what they're actually chasing down in the water, then you can throw that same thing and you'll catch a lot more skipjack that way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop these baits down, see if we can get some more good catfish. So on that big giant body section, it had gotten pecked a bit. I wanted to check and make sure that it was still there. And what I thought was just my weight dragging on the bottom was this little dude. At least I still have my bait. He didn't waste my bait. throw them back, and get the bait back down there. There's a fish though. That fish is taking off, and that's on that whole skipjack. Oh, baby, this could be a good one. Or an accidentally hooked dink. Yeah. And that one's going down. I put that whole skipjack on my rod that has the power handle on it in case I needed to fight a big fish, but I haven't had to put it to use yet. Today, anyway. The wind came up in the last maybe 1 or 2 hours, so it's pushing me downstream. Also, the current's kicked up because they're putting more water through the dam. So I'm drifting at like 1.2 miles an hour speed over ground, which has been a bit frustrating because I'm having to pedal some just to kind of keep back, fight back the winds, just so that my bait's moving down river the same speed as the current. But then that wind keeps pushing me onto the ledge, up higher on the ledge, and I really want to stay out in the channel some. But here's this old dude. Unfortunately, he cost me a whole skipjack for not that big of a fish. Still a fun fight though, and for a takedown like that, sure gets your heart going. So there he is, another fatty. All these today have had a real big belly. But look at the size of that fish, and that's what took down, I don't know what that was, 6 or 8 inches of skipjack, maybe 6 inches of skipjack. He was hungry enough to think he could take that. I had to fight him for a minute while I got in the boat turned around. So I'm going to make sure to hold his tail, swish his gills with water until he's ready to kick off. There he goes. Alright, so I don't have any more of those small skipjacks, so I'm probably just going to put a big body section on that one and see what happens. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and put about half of this skipjack. It's the next smallest one that I have. So I'm going to put about half of him on there and see what happens. While I have the bait out, I'm going to go ahead and do a bait check, make sure all these hooks are facing the same way, nothing is fouled, and make sure there's enough meat. I still have a couple more skipjack. I always hate going home at the end of the day and having any skipjack left over. At the beginning of the day, I don't ever want to put new bait on because I'm worried I'm going to run out, but by the end of the day, almost every 15-20 minutes I'm putting new bait on just to make sure that I'm keeping fresh bait down there, and I don't want to go to the car and still have any fresh bait left. So that big one's gotten chewed up a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and leave him. Actually, I'll go ahead and clip his gills. And put him back down. Well, this wind is pushing me around a lot, which is making it really hard to keep my baits down in the right zone that I want them and in the right draft of the channel that I want. Because remember, the right bait, the right spot, and the right rig, well, you can have the right rig and the right bait, and if you aren't staying aware and being vigilant with your baits, keeping them down at the bottom, down near the bottom, and in the right spot on the channel, if you get pushed up on the edge, you can fish all day and not catch any fish. Hey, before we catch the next fish, I wanted to share something that I was thinking about while I was drifting down the river here. And that's that, so I own the brand Catfish Sumo. I'm really proud of our gear. I designed it, and I'm really proud of our team and the service that we offer customers every single day. But I wanted to encourage you that if you don't have upscale catfish gear, that's totally fine. You can still catch trophy catfish. The first couple fish, big catfish that I caught on gear that I probably got at Walmart or Dick's or something like that. And as long as you're doing the three things, the right spot, the right rig, and the right bait, you can catch trophy catfish. So don't feel like, you know, you get in the catfish groups and stuff like that, don't feel like you have to go spend a bunch of money on gear just to get started. You can get started with your bass gear, your crappie gear, whatever you want. You can get started. Use the right bait, have it in the right spot, and the right rig, and you can catch trophy catfish. So I was thinking about that coming down here, that you know, as you watch these videos, as you see other YouTubers, don't feel like you have to go out and spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars on gear. Get started right now with the gear that you have. And if you want a little bit of free information, go ahead and hit the link down below in this video, and I'll give you a free copy of our digital copy of our book, which is 3 Surefire Tactics that you can use today to start catching catfish. I'll go ahead and send that to you. It's instant right away in an email as soon as you hit the link and enter the coupon code. Oh, we might be getting a fish right here. Maybe just a dink. Anyway, feel free to download it, and I hope you're enjoying the video so far. Oh, we might have a good fish here. I always think it's going to be a good fish based on the takedown. As active as they've been today, some of the good takedowns have ended up being small fish. This could be a good one. At least better than the dinks we've been catching. Okay, that thing that I said about using whatever gear you have, I totally believe that. So this rod that I'm using has a lot of backbone and a sensitive tip, which helps you set circle hooks, but you could use an ugly stick or whatever you want. You can do the exact same thing that I'm doing. You may have to be a little bit more careful bringing them in because you won't have as much power in your rod if you're using a lighter rod. But it just means you fight them a little bit longer until they're tired and ready to come in the boat. And that can be a lot of fun too. Alright, there he is. It's a blue. Man. He does not look as big as the amount of fight that he has. There's the bubbles. That's what we're waiting for. Yeah, that's a good blue. Doesn't want to come in the boat. Alright, Justin, so I think what I've shown today is that the fish are really active when they're not agitated from all the beeping of, say, somebody's trolling motor with GPS lock. When that thing's not beeping like crazy, the fish just, you know, they're a little bit more at peace and they're more willing to take the bait. All kidding aside though, Justin catches some amazing fish. There we go. I'll give you a look at him. So there's that circle hook right in the corner of his mouth. That's the important thing. The circle hook's set usually right in the corner of the mouth or in the jaw instead of in their gut. That means you can keep them alive, take a picture, and let them go. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this with the sun behind me, but whoa. There he is. That is a nice Tennessee River blue. Yeah, that's a good fish. All right, I'm going to get back in the water. Just like before, I'm holding the tail. He fought hard, so I want to make sure that he's recuperated and ready to go before I let him go. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I hold him by the tail. If you can see, when I pull him back, water swishes up through his gills. When I push him forward, he usually opens his mouth and lets more water in. That helps lots of new water flow across his gills so he can get oxygenated again and ready to take off. When they start pushing back on your hand, that's when you know it's ready to let him go. There he goes. All right, here's the fish. Blue. Got the signature rolls going on. This guy took that body chunk, skipjack body section that was about the size of his whole head. I will say it one more time. Here's the importance of the circle hooks. Is that got him just in the lip. And even though he's a little fish, we're going to let him go, and someday he'll be a big fish. So that's why we don't want to gut hook. Even little fish, we don't want to gut hook. We're going to catch him right in the lip, get the picture, and let him go. Oh, baby. Might have a good fish on over there. I need to get this rod out. Okay, fish, bye. That guy's still going. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I should have thrown the little one. I should have thrown the little one. Bummer. This is that half of a skipjack. Well, you know what? It's possible that that was just hung. I just noticed I'm over the top of a tree again here. Maybe all that drag could have been my boat pushing me down and taking drag off the bait. Let's see what the bait looks like. Taking drag off the reel. Did I say bait? Well, the bottom half of it is chomped. So it's possible a fish could have hit here, took off with it, and then, you know, it pulled out of his mouth. Or that could have just been hung up. I think I got another fish over here. This is that same half of a skipjack. Man, he's pulling me all the way around. See if he's big enough to stay hooked. Seems like he's hooked. Might not be that big though. We'll see. It's always the adventure. When you're fishing big baits, you never know. You may get a dink who happen to catch the end of the hook, or you could get a tank. Well, even the little fish today have fought hard, so they might not always make beautiful pictures of holding giant fish, but they are a lot of fun to catch. And I will never be ungrateful about catching a bunch of fish, even when they're small. Alright, there's Bubbles. That's what we're looking for. Man, this one's had to fight. We're gonna end up getting pulled two ways. Yeah, this is a nice blue right here. This is the same water that Justin and I fished just a couple weeks ago. But, you know, my dad always used to say every time we left the lake, sometimes you catch them and sometimes you don't. You could fish the same spot. And if the conditions weren't the same, weren't right, or didn't use the same bait, or whatever they were hitting, you might not get them. But today, we're getting them. This is a good blue. I'm gonna be glad to have it. Not quite ready. That thrashing is why guys who catch big catfish wear gloves. If you stick your hand in there and they start rolling, it's gonna be a bad time. Oh yeah. This is a good blue right here. There we go. Gonna mention it again. That circle hook got him right above his top jawline. Here, I'll give you a pan. Pan across him. It's a beautiful fish, dark, real dark. For reference, that's my hand. Good fish. Now we're gonna do that thing that we always do, which is let them go. Right, there he goes. I worked on reviving that fish for, looks like a little over 4 minutes, which can seem like a long time if you're sitting there just holding a fish, swishing it back and forth, but I don't ever want to rush the release of a big fish like that. He fought hard. You can imagine if somebody tackled you to the ground and kept you pinned and you just fought for 8 minutes straight or something like that, you'd be wiped out. And that's basically the same thing that happens with these fish. So sorry for all of the notifications. But that's really important, to take care of the fish so that they can grow and we can catch them another day. All right, everybody, I think that is going to be my last fish for this trip. That was a beautiful fish, a great one to end on, and a lot of fun to fight. So thanks for joining along. Hey, one thing I wanted to say about that fish, though, is that, you know, the things that I'm doing here is not magic. There's nothing magic. There's no such thing as magic bait, secret spot, magic rig, any of that stuff. It's really just 3 things that also aren't secret: being in the right spot with the right rig and the right bait. And we happen to be in the right spot along this river with cut skipjack, fresh skipjack, and that was, you know, about half of a skipjack there that fish took down, and the right rig just to be able to hold the bait down in the feeding channel for those big blue catfish. So anybody could have done that. If you'd been here today with that rig and that bait, you would have caught the same fish. So if you haven't given trophy catfishing a try, I encourage you to give it a try. Take your gear. You don't have to buy anything special. Might want to buy hooks. You're going to need the right size hook. But other than that, you can use basically the same stuff that you would use for trout or bass or whatever. Your same gear is going to work, I promise. And use the right bait, get it in the right spot where fish are going to be feeding, and see what you can catch. I hope you enjoyed following along. If there's ever anything that I or my team can do to help you in your endeavors to catch bigger catfish, feel free to send us a message on our Facebook page or send us an email, or you can check out our website, which is catfishsumo.com. We've got all kinds of gear there and really helpful articles and that free book that you can download if you hit the link below this video. But feel free to reach us. If we can ever help you, we will do anything we can to help you catch bigger catfish. Hey, one PS that I was thinking about is, you know, Justin and I fish the same water, and I'm starting to wonder that the things that the guys have been saying is true, that Justin is losing his touch. You know, he won't touch catfish, and he won't even pedal or paddle. And, you know, we fished together, and I fished the same water and just caught a whole bunch of fish, and all he got last time was that one nice blue. So, Justin, you know, it might be time to kick it back into gear. If you haven't done it, you can hit the subscribe button down below this video on YouTube and turn on notifications. And when we put out free videos for you, teaching you how to catch catfish and showing you ways to do it, then you'll get a notification for that. Also, shout out to Justin Johnston from Kayak Catfish. If you haven't gone and watched any of his videos, make sure to go watch some of those. Subscribe to his channel. He puts out a lot of great content showing you exactly what he does. He doesn't hide anything. And I really appreciate that about Kayak Catfish, because the thing is, there's a lot of water out here. There's a lot of fish out here. And I appreciate people who share information freely, because the thing is, there's people that will try to find the various houses in the backs of these videos and try to find the exact spot that I'm fishing in today, but there's water probably right near you that's just as good or maybe even better as the water that I'm fishing today or any of the other guys are fishing. So go find the people who are sharing the free content and watch what they're doing, learn what they're doing, go do it, and you can catch trophy catfish. I promise you can do it today.